Are we live?
We're live. I think we're live.
Yeah, it says live.
Yeah, we're live.
In the car.
In the car on the way back to Sydney.
Almost there.
On the way back to Sydney from Melbourne, we've got 2 hours to go. And
I have to focus on driving.
focus on driving. Your fucking car steers itself. What's your problem?
Autopilot.
It's got one of these
on.
fantastic fucking cars that drives itself.
I know, right?
So, hi guys. We wanted to do kind of a post-tour, end-of-tour kind of chat about how fucking sick it all went. It was interesting times. It was fantastic tour. It was lots of learning. We were super stoked to meet everyone who came out. Thank you very much.
It was really fun. Yeah.
It was fun. It was, it was. We met so many cool people, didn't we?
Yeah, a lot of meeting. I mean, thank you for all the beautiful attendees, and thanks for CRS team to be part of it and to work hard. Thanks for Stitch. Thanks for Map It Forward team. Thanks for Get Cloud and
Cafe Imports.
Everybody that really was part of it,
Yeah.
even though a 5-minute conversation or whoever asked a question during the discussion panel, it was absolutely amazing. I've learned a lot, and hopefully there's a lot of changes we're gonna do, and just continuously improving what we normally do.
Yeah. Thanks to our speakers as well and our panelists. There's so many of them. I think we ended up over the course of the Sydney tour and the Melbourne tour, we had something like 30 people who spoke. It's pretty sick. We
Yeah,
had
I
5
didn't
people
notice.
each day, 15 in Sydney, 15 in Melbourne, plus the main speakers. It was really sick.
Yeah, there was a lot of people actually. I didn't
Yeah.
realize until now.
So thank you to all of our speakers. We won't name all of you, but thank you. Hey, so
Yeah.
what was your biggest learning?
Well, I think, as I told you earlier when we were talking about it, the biggest learning for me was to become a better person. So, in a way,
Seriously,
where
that's you're gonna get that broad.
yeah.
What do you mean? I'm gonna drill you. So what do you mean by that?
Well, better person mean understand people a lot more. Build,
at work?
At work. Learn a bit more about how to become a better communicator. Say things a little bit more direct and more informative. Culture, the importance of it. I know we try to build a lot of informal culture at CRS, but probably a little bit more formalization, a few things, some important aspect of it, and maybe speak a little bit more highly about our value and put it out there. I guess
Yeah.
it's a good idea, even though we know it, but we know it in our mind, but nobody really can read it anywhere, so they can connect with us.
Because you guys have a really great culture at CRS.
Yeah, but it's really informal culture. So
Yeah.
if you don't come to see it, you would not feel it.
How do you
That
think
kind
you'll
of
do it?
culture. Through social media a bit more. Get a website that really explicit talk about us properly and
Yeah.
show all our what we stand for, and read through all our thinking again, and prepare for a new year. So it was pretty strategic time for us that it happened, because we were looking at what we're gonna do next year and how we're gonna
Do you think you'll change some
map it
shit?
forward. Yeah, definitely there will be a lot of changes happening within our own operation, especially with Stitch and CRS and members, and how can we get new members on board, maybe make things a lot more formal in a way where they can get booklets, they can get instead of just having a conversation about it, now we can give them a conversation plus aid and with answer questions.
Stitch is your roasting brand.
So for Stitch, a lot of things as well, like what we're gonna do, what we
Your buying philosophy.
Yeah, a bit more buying. Well, I mean, we try to buy
Ethically
sustainably,
sourced?
really.
Yeah.
I mean, no. Every coffee we buy is 80 plus what it is. Being sourced properly, maybe that's something we need to discuss a bit more about it, you know?
Because
And-
we met with Mark yesterday, Mark Dundon.
Yeah,
And we
had
had that conversation. Shout out to Mark
chat.
Dundon, you fucking badass.
Yeah, we had a good chat with him. We had good chat with a lot of other people as well, but you know, being transparent in a way and understand why you're doing it, not just being transparent.
Yeah.
It's really important, and be just honest with your product.
That's the thing though, right? Like,
Yeah,
not
and
many
when
people
you-
like that.
And we're transparent. You're not just transparent your people. You're transparent with your competitors as well. That's something I've learned. Transparent with your friend. Transparent with the whole people that surrounded you. Not just choose to be transparent. I buy sustainably, ethically sourced coffee, but you know for a fact you could do a lot better than that. You know, so
Because transparency is an interesting one, isn't it? Like,
yeah, like,
gotta
honesty.
figure out
I mean,
what the point is.
fuck the word transparent. Just be honest. Just be as honest as possibly you can.
because people who are being ethical don't have a reason not to be honest.
Yes, that's right. You know, and if you find it difficult to talk about it, just try timing it. You know, or just say it. Like it's the way life is. You know, treat it as a basketball game. You know.
Fuck? Treat it as a basketball game. How do you mean?
Like, you know, after you shoot and if you miss, it's okay, you know. We
Can have another go?
yeah, we can have another go. We can have another hangout. We still can hang out together. We still
I
can
do
enjoy
love where you get these things from.
with friends. I know, right?
You're a philosopher.
I know. I was born to do this.
Wait, I want to show people Australia. Have a look. This is what Australia looks like. Well, not that car. This is what, for anyone who hasn't been here before, this is the Australian. It's not really the outback.
It's not bad. Closer to the city.
Well, not really close to the city. It was 2 hours out. But this is what Australia looks like. Does Australia have roads?
No. Not enough.
We don't have roads. We don't
Enough
have
roads.
planes. How the fuck did I get to America if we don't have roads and planes? But you know,
We kangaroos everything.
yeah, we
It's everything.
have seen a lot of dead kangaroos on the roads.
Yeah, that
haven't
was
we?
pretty sad actually. We haven't hit them. It's like,
No, we haven't.
yeah. Oh shit! No, I'm joking. Someone just died. Damn.
So-
Kill a lot of insects though.
We would have seen through Noah's shooting fucking lint croissants. Oh my
the
love it.
list.
It did croissants. Oh my
the
love
list.
it. It did. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
This car is so sick. What is it?
Insane. Skoda.
Skoda. It's car. It has got a car that I don't. Car parks itself. It's car. It has got a car that I don't. Car parks itself. This car steers itself. It's got an auto function. And it is pretty sick.
It's sponsored by.
Sponsored by
Spons.
So during Melbourne events, so we had
Yeah.
the kickoff party.
Yeah.
The first one was a camp boss. Shout out to the camp boss crew, especially Carlos.
It was really
And
impressed, you know, campus. It was such
For putting on
Alexandria.
Alexandra, would
We start
you know, say?
who doesn't want to have a lot of who doesn't want to use everything that CRS offers, so they can at least like just want to roast and just go. So we build something a little bit more separate and more fine-tuned for that style of operation.
Okay.
Waiting for certification. We sorted. We get it all started. It's in the process. And also we've been working with a new coffee roasting company machine from Switzerland. We are
Say details.
nothing is 100%. I don't want to say something and then it doesn't happen. But it's a kind of a different technology to add to our arsenals of roasters. You know, CRS core value is we are state-of-the-art technology, so we're very tech-driven company in terms of we want to have all the technologies of roasting under one roof. So we want to have access to different style, different way, because we believe that it's just going to help us learn a lot more about the coffee industry than us having one-way conversation. At least we have enough knowledge, and in terms when we're gonna do consultancy, when people come and ask us which roaster is a good roaster or not, so we just want to help the industry make better decisions. That's all.
You know, it was interesting.
Decisions. That's all.
You know, it was interesting. I think that we definitely learnt at. So it makes the barrier. We spoke a lot about that in our panel with Matt Perger and Jared and Georgia, and who else was on it? A lot. Georgia. So Georgia O'Connor from Cafe Imports, and Jared,
Mia
you
from
Mila, Menakanian.
Yes.
No, Menakanian. Fuck Mila. I'm sorry if I'm saying it the wrong way.
Yeah.
The thing is, so you don't want to put my coding seal.
Inventing it. When you start, you have and your ointment, so you don't have to waste your time or look for another place. You can just do it all in one place. And when you see a company that is always evolving and always fixating itself and building on better values and benefiting the whole community rather than just one person, then you make your choices.
Yeah.
You know? Well,
they're really providing a proper service rather than just time on a roasting machine. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Places ask them, do they have food grade equipment? Are they using the right blenders? Do they have destoners? Do they have cupping places? Do I get to use it? Do I get to not to use it? Those things are really important for you to ask before you go into any co-roasting space, and make sure that you know the history, and then make sure that you know who they are, who they represent, and who's backing them up.
Yeah, nice.
At CRS is pretty much me at the stage, but the whole most of the money that we make is going back into reinvesting in new technology, reinvesting in new packing machine, lowering, big blender, a new warehouse, a new technology for roasting, buying a roaster, getting a grinder here and there, adding, and we're always adding things, like we're always looking for a bigger warehouse, and we're always giving back to the community itself, and that's what you need to be worried about when you actually want to go to a co-roasting space. So that's pretty much my only advice I can give you. Yes, you can use your friend, nothing wrong with that. There's limited amount of information you'll be exposed to. However, being with a much better co-roasting space, it will help you to learn faster, help you talk about your coffee, it help you to buy better coffee.
Look, animals, hold on, sorry. I don't know if you can see them. There's animals there. That's the Australian outback.
It's really cows. Kind of animals.
They're animals, bro.
They are, but they're cows.
It's just cows. That's all you care about. They're just
really,
cows.
Really see it everywhere.
Oh, hold on. Are we coming up to more cows, more animals?
No.
But it's pretty. Look.
Oh,
But you can't see anything there.
that's pretty. Yeah.
Australia is a beautiful country. Our outback. This is farmland. It's not outback. It is. Well, no, it's not outback. But this is farmland. It's so pretty. I do miss seeing all of this because you don't see this in California. There's cows out the back there. Anyway, so you know what I wanted to ask you?
No.
No, you don't know what I wanted to ask you. What was your favourite session of the Sydney and Melbourne?
I think the favorite session was the psychologist.
Jamie?
Jamie, yeah.
Me too.
I think Jamie did such a great job, and not only that, it's not just the session or the information, it's the way it was transferred.
He's very good, isn't he?
Presentation is the fun.
Shout out to Jamie
Yeah.
Barry.
That is a lot more important than the actual education, is that because it made it fun, engaging, and definitely informative.
Yeah.
So,
He's very good. He's very good. Do you think you'll be able to use what he spoke about?
definitely we'll be able to use everything he spoke about, really.
Yeah, so he spoke about mindset and mental health, assertiveness,
and being clear, I guess. There's
Yeah.
a lot of things that I'm not, I wasn't aware of. No, I
Like
am
what?
aware of. I think assertiveness, like normally, I don't hold back if I don't like something, but saying in a different direction, if you know what I mean. I
Well,
guess.
just
Phrase it better.
yeah, that's what I got out of it too. Like his seesaw, that seesaw image of what assertiveness is, and how at each end of the seesaw there was aggression at one end and passive at the other end,
Yeah,
and assertiveness sits right in the center.
yeah,
And learning how to, what it sounds like when you are communicating aggressively or passively,
yeah,
and when you're on the receiving end of passive or aggressive communication.
yeah.
That was really helpful. That was my favorite session.
Yeah, they were helpful for everybody. I guess everybody enjoyed it. But having said that, I think Al Kidding would be the second favorite, or up there, because
Yeah.
with Al Kidding, it was pretty cool.
He's a pretty cool guy.
He's a cool guy. It's just cool. As simple as it gets.
Yeah, he is.
Don't need to add anything to it. He's just cool. This guy's cool.
He's
you know?
cool.
And when you're cool, everything around you becomes cool. So potential.
Yeah. He spoke about strategy and
Yeah, look, it's
cultures.
the most important
in
part.
cafes.
As we all know. Do you have it? Honestly, that was it.
Sheep. Hold on. Sheep.
Yeah, they're rare in Saudi Arabia.
They're rare in Saudi Arabia. We have lots of, but these ones are free range sheep.
There's sand sheep in Saudi Arabia.
Stop being like that.
I'm joking. No, well, it's a joke. I'm an Arab, I can say it.
You're an Arab,
I
you
am.
can say it.
I have the right.
Oh, more sheep. Look. Shut up. People may not have seen the Australian
Well, no,
sheep.
they're different than Lebanese sheep.
You don't have sheep in Lebanon. You do not.
Because we have milk. We do cheese out of their stuff.
Oh, this is true. This is a beautiful Australian countryside. So I guess when it comes to the workshops, we started the days with conversations about the maps. And then,
Yeah, the maps. The maps were pretty good. Like there was a lot of details. I wish we had a lot of time to go through it step by step and really kind of magnify each
yeah,
and every question in it.
you know, we're
But,
gonna do that different now.
yeah, we're gonna. Well, you gonna.
We're gonna. And I want to including Blacktown.
It's more like raising awareness and question about the topics.
Well, it's career and professional career and business development.
Yeah.
That's what we're about.
Yeah.
And so that's what this was. You know, it was about how do you put together a cafe? How do you put together a career? How do you look at the stuff outside of picking suppliers and picking coffees and, you know, what's the TDS and all that kind of shit. It's about strategy and culture and leadership and career mapping and all that kind of stuff. So
respecting.
Yeah, you know, we spoke a lot about that kind of thing, respecting each other. How do you pick a job? How do you pick employees? How do you do everything?
There was really cool dudes from Perth.
I like them.
Brother of mine.
Those guys are awesome. Ben and who's the other? They were such awesome dudes. Ben and I'm so sorry, guys. I was talking with Ben on my Facebook, but there were two brothers, weren't they?
Yeah.
Ben and I were talking on Facebook the other day, and he sent me a really sweet message saying how he couldn't even put into words the effect that this weekend. Are you texting and driving?
No.
It doesn't matter because your fucking car drives itself, literally. Like, can I show everyone? No, we can't. No.
I can't.
There's that thing, yeah. So, yeah, he was just saying how it had, how he really couldn't put into words for a couple of days how much he'd been affected by what he'd seen at the workshops. Yeah, which is awesome.
And the contribution was amazing.
Yeah, I think they're doing something really special.
Yeah, I want to really go and visit them. Say hi. So we're doing different, you know. And then we went to Bloom.
Yeah, shout out to Drew.
Yeah, he was awesome.
It's just really great to see the different things that people are doing.
Great to see nice people doing good shit. You know, I was really happy.
Oh, and the other thing is, it's great to see humble people doing good shit.
100%.
There was a time, I think, in our industry where humble people were just too terrified to do. They didn't think they were part of the cool kids.
Yeah.
And the fact that they are, the fact that they're getting into it. I don't know if you can see this, but above those trees there's a fog forming, and it's pretty cool, but you won't be able to see it now. Anyway, so yeah, it's just great to see that.
Yeah.
And you know, with regards to Brother of Mine, we're going to try and see if we can, when we do this next year, we're going to see if we can take the tour to Perth, right?
Yeah.
We're going to see if we can. We're going to do a few things differently, and do a proper tour all around Australia: Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, Perth, maybe Tasmania if we can get there. Beautiful, I've heard. But we'll see. It all depends. What would you change about it? About the tour? Spots, the camera goes. We can't see anything there. Anyway, let me flip this back around.
Well, I think the main thing is look at the days. Every time is different. if we can.
That would, yeah.
Make it, because we had like barista and cafe owner, but we spoke about similar things,
And there was a tell people why that happened. Feedback.
we were not expecting it's gonna be people buying
3-day passes. So what happened was when we had put this event together, paid change the program to the person say, oh, we've changed, want your ticket, but people weren't buses, which was not what we expected in the beginning.
Yeah.
And so that's something we learned from. We will make the content, if we do it 3 days next year or 2 days or whatever, we will make sure that there's not content that's repeated and tailored to the audience. We'll have completely different content for each day. That's definitely something that we walked away from this. We listened to people about. What else do you think that we would do different next year?
Maybe put baristas and cafe owners same day
Together?
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. We could probably,
because they're both relevant to each other.
yeah, we would probably make it a 2-day event next year. Having said that though, a lot of the things that we were saying to baristas was a little different to the things that we were saying to cafe owners. We could spin the same kinds of things in different perspectives, which was important.
Yeah, 100%.
But baristas could get something out of that when we're talking to cafe owners.
Where the bus comes from sometimes.
Yeah, which was, it might be worth having that where they're both in the same room and they could hear each other's questions and answers.
Yeah.
That might be helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that. Anything else you think that major things that we could do differently?
Other thing that we can do differently, I would say a bit more different entertainment than
You know what, actually on that, and with regards to the entertainment, I was thinking while we were playing music before, wouldn't it be cool, but since most of us that were speaking are musicians, wouldn't it be fun if we just pulled out some instruments and jammed during?
No, I was there maybe get a stand-up comedian.
That's you, man.
You know, not a stand-up monkey. It's different.
Don't be like that. No, I think it'd be cool to just have a jam through lunch.
Why not?
It'd be fun.
I think it would be a cool idea as well. Yeah. A bit of a structure, the way we're gonna structure it. So have a host.
Yeah.
Have a different person who talks. You know, we just be at the background, like not me but you.
Yeah, I'm gonna be more of the curator of the event than a speaker.
Yeah, which would be epic, and I think we'll change the dynamics of it and how things work, because it helps if you want to do a different one at the same time.
Yeah, I don't know how we're going to go about that, but we'll figure out the logistics. You know, something important that I'm going to change is that I'm going to put together the book and have it supported with a video that has, or videos that have different modules.
Yep.
And not necessarily teach the map at the workshops. So have it so that people can buy the map online at an affordable price. Have the modules that they can go through with the map for each of the different kinds of maps, whether it be barista map, cafe owner map, roaster map, wholesale salespeople map, whatever we end up coming up with. And that way, when people come to these events, it's not about me talking about the maps to start off the day. This way gives me the freedom to be the curator of the event. Because you used a really interesting... Yeah, so I think if we're going to do that, I need to be more of a curator of information and just find some around the world, and just country do this thing. And probably have tech people. Fuck, you know what I'd love to do? I'd love to have these are the kinds of things that I'd love to have people talking about. Getting funding, all that kind of stuff. The sky's the limit, but based on what the coffee industry in the local country needs, so that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring it back next year to Australia, and we're only gonna do it with CRS as our partners. We've been asked by a bunch of people if we can partner with them next year, and the answer is unequivocally no, only because Nawar's the only person that could ask me, and I would have said yes in the first place, and it's been a raging success. So we're going to make sure that relationship maintains, but we are going to invite sponsors for next year, much more than we did this year, because
More equivalent.
we didn't know how we wanted it. So yeah, but fuck, we met some great people.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about the Australia millennials who are ready to crush it in the coffee industry moving forward, both in Sydney and in Melbourne. What was your biggest moment?
My biggest moment.
Yeah, when did you know that we had really changed some shit?
Well, I think my biggest moment is when Will Young was around.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's probably...
That was a big deal to you that he came?
Yeah, well, he came.
Will Young from Campos?
Yeah. Second, he engaged with the crowd. He answered the question, and we questioned him, and yeah, he showed presence, and that was pretty cool. I've never met him before, and
You'd never met him at all?
no, I don't even know how he looked like. So it was actually the first time, and it's good to see. Don't want to say old generation or anything like that. It's good to see people who started the specialty coffee industry in Australia coming back to show us integrity.
That happened in Sydney and in Melbourne. Mark Dundon was there, Will Young.
So we can at least learn that, after you do it all and you make it and you've done it, you have to give back. But if you learn how to give back from the beginning, you'll have a much more fun journey.
Yeah.
And full of great people, full of awesome knowledge, and you'll achieve higher ground before you even know it. So
Yeah.
I think that's...
It was cool to see Will there. Will's one of my first bosses in the industry, and he was so generous in the way he contributed. He gave some hard to hear, honest feedback about the supply chain, about the coffee industry moving forward, about all of it, right? Which he didn't have to. He literally got off a plane from Peru and came straight from the airport to us.
Yeah, which was awesome.
And so he'll come back next year, I hope.
Yeah,
be a part of
next
it.
year we're gonna have more people part of it, and more people who are never part of something. We want them to be part of it,
man.
Because we want them to be heard. We want their opinion. We want them to engage with other people, because we're all in this together, and there's nowhere else to go. I mean, it's kind of an island.
And we can't fix shit if we've just got certain people involved. Like, the coffee industry here in Australia is stagnating. It's saturated. And as soon as you get something that's saturated, you don't get really good competition.
Yeah, well, it's become really kind of competition. But again...
No, but we want people to make money out of it, because it's an economy, right? So we need to make sure businesses are thriving again. We need to help.
You have to be sustainably growing, and you have to have good financial health. But making money is don't expect to be a billionaire or a millionaire out of it. But
especially not now.
Take it as a lifestyle, and enjoy the people around, and enjoy everybody's coffee, really, because even if it was bad, who cares? Just enjoy it. Enjoy the time with the people who you drink with, or if you're drinking it by yourself, just enjoy yourself. One way or another. Just
Oh, fucking hell.
enjoy whatever you're drinking.
We had a couple of difficult conversations, didn't we?
Yeah, a lot about sexual harassment and abusement, and learn to say no. And
Were you surprised by the stories that I told from women who had come to me to tell me how they've been treated in the Australian coffee industry?
I mean, hospitality in general, no. I would say it would happen a lot in hotels, especially.
But in the coffee?
In the coffee, I didn't realize it is as much as it is right now. Especially on trips and what happened. It was a bit of a shock.
That was intense, wasn't
Over
it?
there.
Telling that story in Melbourne.
It was intense. So again, having boundaries is really important, which is I kind of need to put a bit of boundary, not on sexual harassment, but boundaries about
Everything.
Everything, like assertiveness, and say, well, yeah, we can have fun, but when it's time to work, it's time to work. So
Yeah.
we need to have this in our core value.
So there were some difficult comments. It was during the talks where it was a group discussion. So before lunchtime on each of the days, there was speakers who spoke about their assigned topics and presentations. And then after we came back from lunch, we had one group discussion that was led by usually myself and Jared Truby. And then after that, we had a panel discussion with local people from the industry. And the panel discussion that's got really intense was being not a man in coffee. And, excuse me, hands on the steering wheel, buddy. And so being not a man in coffee, I started all the discussions with, because the room was always 90% men for all of this. Australia is a very machismo, male-dominated coffee industry, which is why the speakers that were selected. I wanted to have the men on the speakers list that I had, because these are men who have been very instrumental in creating very gender balanced workplaces. And they're also men who champion a lot of women in the coffee industry. And so when I started these sessions, I spoke about some stories. One was a rape story of a girl in the coffee industry, and the other was a sexual abuse story of a girl in the coffee industry. Both of them were women. I apologize, they're not girls. One of them was 20 years old when it happened, and the other one was about 28 when it happened. And the thing was, the room was shocked that this goes on. But when I asked people, were they surprised that this happened? No one was surprised. And we essentially need men to start being allies for us against other men, not allies in the workplace with regards to our work. We don't need men to teach us how to do all this kind of stuff and whatnot. No, in that situation, we need men to get the fuck out of the way so that we can do our job as best as we can. But when it comes to helping men understand that they can't talk shit about their co-workers, and they can't sexualize us, and they can't rape us and intimidate us and all that kind of thing, you guys are the only ones that can help sort that out.
Yes.
And that was what that session was really about. It was really intense. And I think for me, the big...
That goes down to being assertive, right?
For men.
Yeah, like having an assertive culture in a place.
Yeah. And that was another thing that we spoke about, like sexual predators won't exist in a workplace where boundaries are clear assertiveness is a massive day for me. I've got an empty. Shout out from Silver Chef, and he's also the new president of ASCA, the Australian Specialty Coffee Association. Kieran was in Sydney and in Melbourne to witness the events, which is a massive effort. He's super busy, and he was there for Jamie's assertiveness talk, and something huge that came out of it is that in both Sydney and Melbourne, both audiences said that they really wanted assertiveness training. And so I approached Kieran about how we can get ASCA to fund it, and he's convinced we can, and if not, Silver Chef will fund it, which is amazing. So we're committed to helping make that happen and getting Jamie to do the training so that everyone in the Australian coffee industry gets it for free. For members of ASCA particularly, get it for free. And yeah, it's going to be important. It's very necessary. But for me, the most important, like one of the big moments for me was after we'd finished Sydney. And who was it that came up to you? Clayboy. Takumi-san. Takumi-san was just awesome. You know, there are different people who just show you their appreciation with the way that they're information, and he's just such a fucking rad human. And he gave me this handmade cup to say thank you for the content, and he has a whole new outlook on the way that he sees his career and his place in the industry. It's just awesome to see. But yeah, so, and there were, you know, people coming up after Melbourne saying all the cool shit that they were saying. We've got to go away now and write down all the shit about how would we do this different and what do we have to do better. We want to make sure that when we take it to other countries, this is the new benchmark. So, yeah, you know, every session, every event needs to get better than the one before it. So, you know, we've been asked if we could take it to Canada, to Italy, a couple countries in the Middle East. We're going to do it. We're going to just start looking at different international guests that we want to take to other countries, and move from there. Yeah. But I do want to say thank you to you, sir.
Thank you.
This would never have happened without you.
Vice versa. I was just there. That's it. I was a lucky man.
You weren't just there. You were the person who, when shit went down, you jumped in and fixed everything, and you put a whole team behind this, and none of these events in Sydney or Melbourne would have happened without you and your network and your crew and you having the reputation that you do, and Collective Roasting Sushi. That's how mush my brain is. CR Sushi.
Sushi Hero.
Collective Roasting Sushi. None of it would have happened. Collective Roasting Solutions having the, I guess, the clout that it has and the reputation that it has. And it's just, I think we created something really special these past 2 weekends. And oh wait, I've got to show everyone this. Check this out. This is beautiful. It's just, I'm to this as a podcast on iTunes or Stitcher or whatever, wherever you listen. But Just how beautiful my home country is. Yeah, no, we're very lucky. Let me turn around. Thank you. That Shane, you are a legend. Thanks to poor guy got sick in Melbourne.
I know. Ordered two cappuccinos regardless of from.
I guess we wanted to do this podcast as a bit of a wrap up for it, because we made so many amazing new friends, and they told me how much they told me how much they listened to the podcast, and we wanted a way for you guys to know that you showed up and you bought tickets and you know, gave so generously of your experience and opinions and your feedback in how we need to change the industry more. I know to get to 1 hour.
Okay.
Oops, let me turn the camera around. There we go. So yeah, like people who showed up for 3 days and came from other states and things like that. For the love of God, I wish I could remember her name, but this amazing woman from Perth who works for the cacao, the Panama coffee and cacao. I'll remember her name the second we finish this episode, but she was brilliant. Sakota-san, do you remember her? For 10 years, did you meet her? Satoko in Melbourne. No, she's from Tasmania, and she worked for Ghibli Studios for 10 years. The animation studio in Japan. Yeah, she worked for Ghibli for 10 years.
Wow.
And now she's looking at doing some bullshit in the coffee industry. She was there. You know, we had crew from St. Ali in Melbourne. It was fucking amazing. But if you guys, all of you in Sydney and Melbourne, all of you who came and were a part of this event, we love you. You made this a big fucking deal for us.
Yes.
And you know, we were hoping it would be successful, but we've come to realize this is going to become an annual event. It was much more successful than we had even hoped and dreamed. So yeah, stay tuned. We're going to be announcing when it's going to happen next year, hopefully before the end of this year, if not early next year. We're just going to try and figure out, we're probably going to do it in one other country next year as well. We've got to figure out where that's going to be, which country it is, because we've got some offers. But once we've figured that out, we'll be Australia. Do you think it'll be around the same time of year?
A little bit earlier,
maybe September or something.
Yeah.
We'll do it, you know, just 4 minutes to go. Isn't that a yak?
It's cute.
Takumi's. Look at the traffic going that way.
Yeah, heading home.
It's heading back to Wollongong. It might be working. Does it feel like we've been driving for 8 hours here?
No.
Yeah. So I don't think this is a recording.
No, it's not recording.
I don't think this is a recording.
No, it's not recording.
It might be, because the time is still clicking. I don't know, maybe. It's like it's thinking, it's tricking us. It wants us to think that it's recording, but it might not be, and it's just fucking with us. And it's just fucking with us. But in case it is, because we couldn't stop this right now if we wanted to. How long until we get home? Like, you make good time, but yeah. So whatever it gets, that's the point of this. It's like this podcast is just straight talk. We don't edit. You're gonna say what you're gonna say, and it's gonna be live, and it gets taken off, and I put it up. Anyway, I don't know. Anyway, we are gonna wrap this up because we're almost in Sydney. There's many more cars on the road than there was before. I'm gonna be back in the States by this Friday. You know, I leave here at 12 o'clock on Friday. I arrive in the States at 1 o'clock on Friday. It's such a mindfuck.
Yeah, one day.
1 hour.
In air.
It's like, what the fuck happened? But you come here. I left on Tuesday. It's 10 hours. It's weird.
Crazy, yeah.
You lose a day.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're going to wrap this up. Thank you to everyone who came. We hope we see you next year. We will let you know which other country we're going to do this in next. And mapperforward.org/event. If you would like to see all the content and grab all the content virtually. So you'll be, if you're a virtual attendee, you've got 6 months to watch the videos, which is awesome. And we'll be re-uploading all of those in their entirety once I'm back to the States. So anyway, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You look like you're about to fall asleep.
Nah, just tired.
All right, peace out, everyone. Mwah. Thank you, everyone. Bye.